Well, I wrote the script to Lady Bird, and it really came out of a desire of wanting to make a project about home, like what the meaning of home is and place. And I knew Sacramento very well, obviously, growing up there. And I felt like the right way to tell a story of a place was through a person who was about to leave it. And that felt like the most vivid time of a place. And as soon as I was done with it, I thought I have to direct it. And I wanted to direct for a long time, but I felt like I believed I needed a lot of experience on film sets, and I didn't go to film school, so the way I got that was through acting and co-writing and producing, and once I had accumulated about 10 years, I thought it was enough. There were certainly challenges in making the film, but I was terribly nervous before we started, but then as soon as I was on set, I felt very comfortable. And I loved doing it. I loved being with these great actors, and I loved working with my DP. I loved working with the crew. There was no part of it that felt unnatural to me. And specifically with directors I've worked with, and even some that I haven't, they were all incredibly generous with me, having really long conversations about what they felt was useful as like tips. And Mike Mills was a person I talked to extensively. He read the draft, the shooting script, and then we talked a lot about just even little practical things that he thought were useful.
Well, the discussion that we had when over the phone when Greta and I were first talking about the character, I think at first we wanted to make sure that, because the only time that you see the mother-daughter relationship is this brief period where they're totally butting heads, and you get very few windows into how much they care for each other. That's why those little shots go a long way, I guess. The little tiny Christmas scene, and we wanted to make sure that there were different triggers that would elicit each different battle between the two. But I did confide to Greta over the phone before we met in person that I had a 16-year-old in the house at the time who was also trying to kill me. So I was prepared.
I mean, A24 has put out movies that 20th Century Women, obviously, that I worked on, and I just think I love them as a company. I think primarily what they do is they distribute films they think are good and like, which seems like a pretty straightforward thing to do, but it's rare. And they watched a cut of the movie and bought it, which I couldn't have been more happy about. And I'm thrilled to be working with them. I really admire what they're doing. I actually can't imagine right now the American landscape of independent cinema without them.
Yeah, right.
I think maybe the musical stuff was the most exciting for me, because I come from a musical theater background, but it was also challenging because I wanted it to be Julie performing, not Beanie performing. So that felt like something to navigate of I thought, she wouldn't have had singing lessons, she wouldn't sing the same way that I sing. And so finding how she performed on stage versus how I perform on stage.
It was a pretty blissful experience. I was surrounded by great people. I really like them. I believe in the script. My role was kind of an easy fit for me. There was nothing. I'd like to pretend it was a lot harder than it was, but it just wasn't.
My ambition looking forward is Lady Clint Eastwood. Let's go. I don't know. That's kind of true.
In that you want to do westerns in Italy, or that you want to direct with a same crew and make movies every 9 months.
What I mean is I'm remaking Dirty Harry.